Rotem is somebody who I really admire for the way he integrates, so his social media and his own music and his own career. And, you're a guy that really seems to be doing everything.
Wow, thank you.
And, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how you have time for practicing. We'll dive into those questions, I think, a little later. But before anything, what was your, here's Daniel. Okay, Daniel's now going to come up and join us as well.
Yes.
Cool, sorry.
I thought he got hit by a truck, so I was getting a little...
Well, I was actually, I was driving the truck, so.
Oh, there you go. Truck driving is very hard. But, to Rotem, what was your first experience coming to NAMM? When was that? What was that like for you?
Yeah, the first time I was here in NAMM was 2 years ago, so this is my third NAMM. The first time I actually hated it. Yeah, it was really hard for me. I was just like, it was a lot of stuff and a lot of people I didn't know, so I was just like kind of overwhelmed. But yeah. So, but then the second time it was much better because I was like more relaxed and just more open to just like take it slower and just like so much stuff and so many people and everybody's like doing so many things, so I was just like really overwhelmed the first time. And now like this is again my third NAMM, so it's just awesome. I love it now.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I think NAMM, it's my fourth NAMM here with the Angelico, and it's really become this like great networking event. I don't think it was always that. There was always a level of networking at NAMM, but I think with social media culture, there's so much people from all over the world meeting here and meeting up and making videos together and playing and showing each other stuff. And I wanted to ask Daniel, when did you first start seeing this whole like new movement of guitar and Instagram? When did you see that starting to come to life?
2014 was when it started happening for me.
Yeah.
The year after I graduated high school. Yeah.
And how do you think the wave of Instagram and social media in general has shaped guitar culture?
Whoa, in a big, huge way.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's the biggest shift in our culture and since the printing press probably.
Right.
In a crazy way, yeah. People from all over the world can now hear me play my notes in my bedroom for free. That's weird.
It's crazy. I mean, you can just pick up a guitar, put your phone there, and you're showing your music to the world. I mean, music used to be you had to buy sheet music at the store and have a piano at your house, 100 years ago.
Yeah. And
now it's like take your phone out and you're good to go. And I'm sure there's a lot of anxiety with that as well. I mean, you could just when you just you can kind of plug into your fan base whenever you want. You have to kind of balance that with, practicing and writing and all that other thing. So, Rotem, how do you deal with that? Kind of, I guess it was a paradox.
Yeah, it's a strong question.
It's a strong question.
Yeah, it's.
I'm a deep guy,
Well, I think I'm trying to find some point of balance between writing and connecting with people and doing things. I mean, honestly, I always feel I'm not doing enough, and I think it's not an easy feeling, but it also pushes you to do more. So I'm based in New York, and I think New York always makes us feel we're not doing enough, right? Maybe LA too. I don't know. I've just been here twice or three times.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think trying to find that balance is what I strive for. I don't think I got it, but just like, trying to be consistent with the elements. So just like, being aware of what's like the bigger plan of what I want to do, and then breaking it down to smaller fragments, whether it's, again, practicing guitar or music or connecting with people and being like, okay, I'm just going to hang, which is as important as practicing and all that, right? So I think like really, and also finding a consistent rhythm to that, right? So just like you're practicing piano or guitar for, a few hours consistently every day for a few years. So the same thing, if you want to connect with people, for example, in New York, I started going to this jam on Mondays called Producer Mondays. So I was like, I just made it a decision that I'm going to go there every Monday, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? But I think like making clear decisions that this is what's happening, this is how you're going about it, whether it's, you know, on a social level or musical. So that's helpful for me.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely, yeah. And Daniel, how did you grow your profile? What were the things that you were doing in the beginning? When did you start to see the traffic kind of come in?
Yeah. Well, I posted every day. I would post something every single day, and I would try to keep the place I was filming the content relatively consistent.
Yeah.
People like to see the same things over and over and over again, which is cool. I don't blame them. So that's what I did, and then I'm really obsessed. I try to be obsessed with whoever likes me, why do they like me, and how can I serve that even more. So I always respond to people, whether it's a direct message or a DM for us born in the mid-90s or
you know how it
later.
goes.
And then I always respond to all the comments. So that's big. Just really like providing the least amount of friction for somebody to access the world that is Daniel Donato, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think engagement on social media is really important.
Engagement's the word.
And I think when, you know, it goes appreciated. I mean, you know, when someone that you look up to could reach back out to you and use the platform to put a smile on someone's face, I mean, I think that's great. And as you said, consistency. I mean, it's something when we work with so many artists at D'Angelico, so many of the ones that are doing so well with social media, they have that consistent aesthetic. And, you know, you have this like subconscious mind where you're scrolling down your feed, or if you're on YouTube or whatever, and you see that one thing, whatever it is. You know, I know, Rotem, you have, you know, a consistency to your videos a lot.
Totally.
Some of the settings that you shoot in, and you know, I think it's something that your fans expect, and I think they cling on to when they see it again. You know, and Rotem, how did you initially start? You know, you were someone I had heard of probably when I was in college, and you were like a pioneer in the, you know, kind of the hardcore New York jazz scene. And then all of a sudden your career kind of took a pivot, and you kind of started going into more modern styles of music. I feel like social media was a combat, you know, was a tool for you to kind of bridge yourself out of that. Could you speak to that story a little bit? I always wanted to hear it.
Sure, yeah, it's interesting. So really, I'm from Israel originally, and I moved to New York to study jazz at the New School, and all I cared about was jazz. I was not aware of anything, to the extent of we played this gig in the Lower East Side for a couple of years, and we're playing there, and my friend saying, oh, it's John Mayer. So I didn't know who he was, so I just came up to him and I was like, hey man, you want to sit in with us? He was super nice, but I literally didn't know who he was, right? I was really in jazz world 100% for many years. And, you know, and then I started just kind of discovering other styles of music. And then when we started collaborating with other bands and doing some tours in non-jazz venues, even I remember like when we played with Little Tybes and we did Rough Trade in New York.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a moment for us, because before that we played, again, jazz clubs like Blue Note or Smalls or Jazz Gallery or different places in New York, and also tours in Europe and the South America and in the jazz routing and festivals. But when we did that place, I mean, everybody was just hanging there, and that energy of a crowd that's standing and just having a drink and is there 100% for the music. There is no... They just want to enjoy the situation, which is slightly different than in a jazz setting, which, I mean, they want to enjoy it too, but there is a high level of criticism, which could be great and sometimes not as great, right? So I really appreciate that energy of the non-jazz listeners, and that kind of made me fall in love with that. And then the music just kind of started shifting. So it was a very, very gradual shift, actually. So it's, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I really feel like, you know, when you play, even when you were just playing before this, like, I hear that story through, you know, the music. I mean, look at this pedal board. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. Like 3 people came up and commented, like, what is that thing? You know, transformation is what I would say.
Yeah.
Which is great. And, you know, to Daniel, I mean, you guys probably are, as I was saying before, like, you guys are some of the most busy people I see, or seemingly busy people I see. And, you know, I see Daniel, you're promoting a big tour coming up, and you're doing the Instagram thing, YouTube, TikTok, you know, really everything. How, do you have time to practice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Every day.
What's your routine? You wake up. I know you like to go to the gym in the morning.
Yeah, I do.
Walk us through a day. Walk us through a day of Daniel Donato.
Well, so my dad and I built out a studio where we can create all of my content in-house. in the same place that I practice. So we have a green screen built in. Anyone who hasn't seen my Cosmic Country videos on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the places. It's all green screen a lot of the time, or it's live stuff. We do that all in-house. It's just him and I. It's my dad and I. It always has been. I wake up, I go to the gym, I come home, and I practice for like 3-4 hours, and then I'll handle socials. I'll come up with ideas of things I want to play, or if I have a writing session that day, I'll go to the writing session. My life's very much segmented into touring life, and then when I'm at home life.
Home life.
Right? So when I'm at, like the John Mayer song.
Right.
When I'm on the road, I don't practice as much, because I want to stay fresh and inspired. But when I'm at home, I'm always practicing.
You're always practicing.
And it's like it always sounds bad, because like if what I'm practicing sounds good, then I'm really just kind of noodling, right? So that's part of it. But yeah, I have a lot of detail. Actually, on my website, you can go and I upload the PDFs of my practice schedules on there, so you can go get them for free.
Great.
All of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good to know. We just did some videos together, and I'm like trying to transcribe half the stuff you're playing, and tools like that would be useful. So it would be cool. And I was going to ask, when you do have a tour coming up, are you building up an arsenal of?
Yeah.
A lot of artists go on tour, and then they get into tour mode, and then it's like, okay, what am I going to do to post? What's my schedule looking like? And so, are you building up when you're anticipating a tour cycle coming up? Are you building up that arsenal of content?
Always.
Yeah.
So I have the podcast that I did, and we finished the first season of that right at the first week of December, and then we're going to launch that the day that the tour starts. We have that, and then I'm always looking for memes to put music to and tour dates on. If you see some of the tour promotion that we did, so if you're talking about engagement, it's very funny to see like what fans engage on and what they don't. And like we had a video the other day that we took off TikTok and we put it on Instagram, and it had almost double the engagement of a normal video that I usually have. And it was a funny meme video.
Right.
And who knows as to why?
Right.
Maybe it's because there was a horse in it. I like horses.
Yeah, I mean, I like horses too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, can we bring in the horse?
Yeah, I think we have one behind the stage. Josh, the horse? We have a horse back there? Oh, okay.
Wait, did you say horse behind? So you have the horses in the back, or?
Horses in the back. And on that topic, I actually on a completely separate topic, let's go back to the guitar. What I love, I see Destiny in the audience as well, another great, artist I follow and love.
She is so talented.
So talented.
She's
Yes.
wild.
I feel like there's this new wave of guitar players. I mean, when I started working at D'Angelico, it was still like, let's talk about Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about Jimmy Page and all these great guitar players from back in the day. And those players will always be on this exalted level. But where were the new generation of guitar players? And I think why I caution people who are pursuing social media to still practice and make sure that that's their priority. It is giving a voice to a new generation of players. So now, even at NAMM, people come up and I'm like, who are your favorite players? It's like Rotem and Daniel.
Yeah.
And it's, and not only has it been amazing for, I think artists and guitar culture in general, but it's created a lot of interest in guitar culture and guitar brands. I mean, we're seeing so much more, both male and female young artists getting into guitar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just exciting to see. I wonder if you guys have any thoughts kind of on that trend, if you're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I think, again, social media in a way is word of mouth, just very, very fast, right?
Yeah.
It's expedited word of mouth. So in that sense, it's just, really, we get information so fast, and we can, just check out these wild guitar players in Japan and get inspired.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Ichika
oh my
Mausa.
god. Yeah, he's here actually.
Oh yeah, he's insane. Ichika.
It's like, yeah. So it's I love it. I mean, it's super inspiring, and I think it's like it's really pushing like the boundaries, and making the music progress and also really just like infusing different styles within whatever you do, because it's all there.
There's one concept that I feel like should be mentioned, where it's like never in a time before has your competition been on a global scale. Where it's like you could easily, like the guitar, Nick, who's in my band, is from Iowa.
Yeah.
And like there is a time where in Iowa he could have been the best guitar player in his town.
Wow.
but he is for sure like not the best guitar player on Instagram, and like he knows that. And it's like so now all of a sudden there's all this weird ego, and like we compare ourselves to others, and it's like I woke up the other day. And the first 5 photos on my Instagram feed were my friends. One was at Madison Square Garden, one was Red Rocks, and the other 3 were at just ridiculous venues. And like, I watched Netflix the night before, and like my night wasn't
crazy.
like. So it's like it's a good generation for guitar players. You can get your content message out in the world, but it's like also a time more than ever to like not compare yourselves to others.
Absolutely.
And just like live on your own grind.
I mean, it's funny. My teacher growing up playing guitar was this old Italian mafioso guy. He listened to Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, and smoked Cuban cigars, and that's all he did. And he didn't know what 9 of his friends were doing at once. And,
right.
and I think, and that was kind of how I was brought up as a guitar player. I think a lot of us were brought up that way. And now we're in this world where you can know where everybody is at all times, and it creates all of a sudden like, wow, the world is so much bigger now. And how do you deal with that? I think a lot of people get stressed out by that.
It's impossible
path.
not to.
And what is, what's your guys' advice on kind of how to deal with that?
Stay vertical. Stay in your lane. That's what some of my biggest heroes have told me, is to stay in your own lane and just do your own thing. And that's easy to say, but I think that's it.
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, again, just trying to do what you believe in, and trying. I feel if we believe in something strongly enough, so, it will echo eventually with others. And yeah, just trying to do what it is that you're trying to do, and being honest with the craft and the music.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great way to end that, I think. And,
right on.
I wanted to open it up. I wanted these guys to have a quick jam.
Let's do it.
But before that, if anyone has like a question or two to ask these guys, or you can just pull them aside after, I'm sure they'll be hanging for a sec.
Well, actually, maybe we jam it back at 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Daniel is going to be back at 3, so we'll actually do the jam then. And Rotem's going to come to that too.
Tomo Fujita will be here too.
Great. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, come back at 3. You'll see the jam then. But if anyone has any one or two quick questions, we can take it.
No, I gotta go. I got a sound check. But we're also playing tonight too at 7.
Oh yeah,
Store at
that's
the
right.
Marriott.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll end there. Oh, we got one question.
So you mentioned that you use TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Do you think TikTok is only? Do you think like other forms of music other than like pop or rap and stuff can take advantage of TikTok, or is it more because the audience is just kind of more centered towards that style of music?
I wonder. It's like there's a lot of people on TikTok. Like we're about to do 20,000 followers on TikTok, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So it took me a lot longer to get that kind of viewership on Instagram, but it's like the viewership on TikTok isn't worth as much money, right? So like when you go to Europe, the American dollar is worth a little bit more. So that kind of translates over from social media as well. It's like Facebook likes are worth the most, right? And that's why running ads on Facebook costs the most, right? So it's like, I would participate on all of them just in case somebody loves you on all platforms.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking at. It's like you're not trying to like cater to the biggest slice of the pie. It's like there's slices of your pie that are on all platforms. Like I don't even have 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I still post there all the time. And there's some people who hit me up and they're like, "I love your tweet posts." So I don't know. I think it's just like be as active as you can, because it's kind of your job to put out content every day now as an artist.
Great. Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot of new platforms popping up, and I think it's important to everyone to just kind of be aware of what's happening.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to dive in, commit yourself.
Yeah, that's
I think
real.
That's otherwise just stay in your lane and do your thing. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Daniel and Rotem back
Thanks
at 3
for
o'clock.
having me.
All right, guys.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
man, that was
That was fun. Sorry I was a little late.